All right, this is Module 6, Lesson 4, Problem Set. Today, I'm going to teach you how to use the coordinate system to play a game. So the name of our game is called Battleship. The goal is to sink all of your opponent's ships by correctly guessing their coordinates. So the materials you're going to need is a grid sheet, a red crayon marker for hits, and a black crayon marker for misses. And if you have a file folder or something that can open up like this and sit so that you can keep your grid secret, that is even better. Each player must mark 5 ships on a grid. You're going to mark an aircraft carrier, a battleship, a cruiser, a submarine, and a patrol boat. So an aircraft carrier is going to take up 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 3 points, 2 points. So with your opponent, what you're going to do is you're going to, with your opponent, choose a unit length and fraction unit for the coordinate plane. So you and your partner get to decide, are you going to mark it in whole numbers? Are you going to mark it in whole numbers and fractions? Label, then you need to label the chosen units on both grids. Then, secretly, without your partner knowing or your opponent knowing, you're going to select locations for each of your 5 ships on your My Ships grid. All ships must be placed horizontally or vertically on the coordinate plane. They can't go diagonally, so they have to go horizontal or vertical. Ships can touch each other, but they may not occupy the same coordinate. So they can be next to each other, but they can't share the same coordinate. So how you play is players take turns firing one shot to attack enemy ships. When it's your turn, you're going to call out one of the coordinates. So call out the coordinates of your attacking shot. Record the coordinates of each attack shot. So each time you say, okay, 4, 2, you're going to write down that you called out those that coordinate pair. And then if your partner says miss, then you're going to mark it that as a miss. If your partner says hit, then you're going to go, aha. So now I know their battleship or their aircraft carrier lies either on that x-axis or that same y-axis in that pair. So your opponent checks his or her ship grid. If that coordinate is unoccupied, your opponent says miss. If you named a coordinate occupied by a ship, your opponent says hit. Mark each attempted shot on your enemy ship's grid. Mark a black X on the coordinate if your opponent says miss. Mark a red check on the coordinate if your opponent says hit. I think I reversed that earlier. On your opponent's turn, if he or she hits one of your ships, mark a red check on the coordinate of your My Ships grid. When one of your ships has every coordinate marked with a check, say, you've sunk my battleship. You've sunk my aircraft carrier. That's how you play the game. So, turn the page. Now, this is not going to be as much fun as when we play this in class. But the person who wins the victory is the first player to sink all or the most opposing ships. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark these up. And if you want, in order to do the problem set, if you want to make a photocopy of these two and then give it to someone else and play at home, that would be a way of doing it. Or you can play against yourself. The only thing is, you know what you've done. So an aircraft carrier has 4 points, 5 points, 4 points, 3, 3, 2. So what you're going to do, but before you can even start, you have to agree where is each one of these going to be worth 1, or are you going to do quarters, like 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1, and go across like that? That is for you to decide. So I think I'm going to do halves. So this is going to be a half. This is going to be 1. So I'm going to skip. So whatever I do here, I have to do the same thing down here. All right. So this was step 1. You and your partner have to agree on what you're going to label your coordinate, your X and Y axis as, what kind of distance there's going to be in between each of the numbers on the X and Y axis. Now, this is yours. You are going to decide where you're going to put your aircraft carrier. So for me, I think I might put my aircraft carrier over here, and I have to have 5 points in my aircraft carrier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I circle my aircraft carrier. Then my battleship, I'm going to have my battleship has 4 points. My cruiser is going to be, my cruiser is 3 points. Now, I want to be strategic about this, so I don't necessarily want these to be on the same lines, like having 2 ships share too much, because if your opponent starts getting these right, if someone hits this axis, you don't want someone to hit too much. All right, then we have a submarine. I'm going to put my submarine down low. I'm going to label it. That's my submarine. This is my cruiser, so I don't forget. This is my aircraft. This is my battleship. Okay, now I just have my patrol boat. I'm going to put my patrol boat right here. Okay, so do you see how I did that? I decided where I was going to put my boats out in the water. Now, in order to start the game, you have to decide who's going to go first. And you can do that however you choose. Then, so if this is mine, so I need to keep an eye on mine because someone's going to call out some coordinates. And so every time that person calls out a coordinate, I have to be able to track. So each time I'm either going to be marking it as a miss or a hit, right? So if someone calls off 4.5 by 4.5, I go, oh my gosh, 4.5 by 4.5. Shoot, that was a hit. And then if they go, oh, well, maybe it's 5 and 4.5, then I would go, that's a miss. So, but if someone then goes, oh, well, how about 4.5 and 2.5? Then I have to go, shoot, that's a hit. So The first person that gets all of their ships sunk is the one who loses. So each time you want to keep track of the coordinates that you're calling out, and you want to mark if you hit something or if you miss something. That way you can figure out where to send your hits, where your shots. Now, so you want to draw a circle around the coordinates of a sunken ship. So let's say you got my aircraft carrier. Let's see. You went, oh, okay, I got this person. I got this aircraft carrier. I'm going to draw a circle around that. Then if I called out certain coordinates and I missed, I want to mark that I missed those so that I don't keep, if I call out here, 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 and I'm getting misses, then I probably want to move and start calling out coordinates somewhere else in order to sink a ship. So hopefully that makes sense. And you are able to play with someone or play with yourself. That works totally fine too. Especially if you're just getting the hang of it. And then you say, oh, here is an exit ticket. Fatima and Rihanna are playing Battleship. They label their axes just using just whole numbers. So you're going to explain. Now for the homework is to teach a friend or family member how to play this game. And you can use the directions from the class to teach your opponent. You and your opponent should record your guesses, hits, and misses on the sheet as you did in class. Now, that's why I said if you want to make a copy of this page before you get started, that way you can use it for the homework. Or if you just want to draw it on some graph paper, that works too. You and your opponent should record your guesses, hits, and misses on the sheet as you did in class. When you have finished your game, you want to answer these 3 questions. That's all there is to it. So hopefully you had fun and you're going to enjoy this exercise because you're learning how to plot points, read coordinate pairs, and strategize. So it is a really good activity. All right, have fun.